Hey you guys, Miss Cashflow Properties, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be talking about unlocking the world of off-market properties. Now, I know many of you are on a quest to find that ideal investment property, and you're trying to navigate doing so in a competitive market. So we're going to talk about some insider tips and strategies to help you unlock this world of off-market properties and set you aside from other investors.
Miss Lola is a great teacher and she's a great real estate agent, so I'm looking forward to moving forward with her, planning my future and taking it to the next level.
So imagine this. You find a property that looks promising, but how do you really know? You got to get into the numbers. All right. So step one, I want you to gather information, meaning the rent roll. Is the property occupied or vacant? If the property is occupied, then you need to see the rent roll. You want to request that information for who's ever marketing the property to you. You want to know how much the tenants pay for rent, the number of bedrooms of each unit, how much the tenants pay, if the tenants pay for the utilities, or if the owner is paying for the utilities. Now, let me pause here because you can have a house that's configured with individual electric and gas for the tenant, electric, gas, and water for the tenant, or it can be all metered into 1 meter for the electricity, 1 meter for the gas, and 1 for the water. Ideally, you want a property that has separate metering so that the tenants can individually pay and be responsible for their own utilities. Why? If you offer a washer and dryer inside each unit, you won't be left with high or exorbitant water bills and electricity bills if you have these amenities inside your units. Now, if the tenant is responsible for their lights and their water and their heat, guess what? They're going to be more resourceful. They're going to ensure that not just having the air on 60 all summer long, right? Or having the heat on 80 all winter long. They're going to be more mindful in managing those expenses. Why? Because they pay for them and not you. So being able to, think about and request this information for the property. The lease term. You want to know and consider, is there a lease in place? Is it an annual lease? Is there a month-to-month lease? Now, if there is an annual lease and you're 1 month into the lease, you then want to know how much is that tenant contractor or in that lease, for how long and how much do they have to pay. Now, if they're paying below the market rent and you know that they're month 1 into a 12-month lease, you have to now calculate your year 1 expenses with a lower rental income, which will then impact your what? Your cash flow. The money that will go into your pocket, because you're tied, if you get the property, you're tied into a lease agreement that you cannot break, all right? You're tied into a lease agreement for less than market rent. So you want to gather this information on the front end. You also want to know, is the tenant on housing, right? Are they receiving any assistance from the government? The government, depending on your area, depending on how many bedrooms, the government typically pays less than market rent, but benefits of getting accepting government vouchers for rental income, although it may be less than the market rent, is that it's guaranteed. The government's going to pay every single month. So you want to weigh those, pros and cons of having market rent opposed to government-based rental vouchers. But you need to know this information before making an offer on a property so that you can run your numbers effectively and you have accurate, actual numbers and information. So we talked about the lease, we talked about the utilities, we talked about requesting the rent roll. What we also want to talk about is taxes. You want to know, what are the taxes for this property? If it's a single door, or if it's a duplex or triplex, you want to know what are the taxes, and you can't just assume what the taxes are. There's a big difference on paying, taxes at $200 a month, right? $2,400, and taxes at double that at $4,800 a month. Again, that additional $200 will impact your bottom line. All expenses, every single expense or income that you receive for your rents, everything you need to know so that you can determine your cash flow. You cannot run a show if you don't know how to run the numbers. All right. Listen, the next thing you guys want to do in analyzing your real estate deal is to determine your investment criteria. This is critical. It is key. You must have complete clarity on your goals. You have to know your risk tolerance and understand your desired return on your investment. Now, what do I mean by your risk tolerance? You need to determine if you want a property that's occupied or vacant. Do you want the property to need renovations? How much renovation? Do you want to do a major rehab or maybe some cosmetics like paint? You have to determine if your property will again have tenants that have government funding, so the rent is guaranteed, or you want market tenants or tenants who are going to pay market rent, who work 9 to 5. Risk is associated in all your decisions. There's pros and there's cons. So you want to make sure you have clarity on your risk tolerance, what you want to deal with and handle going into your real estate deal. So that's a part of you developing your criteria. Your return on your investment, yes, that's about your money. If you put up $100, do you want to return a 10% return of that money? Do you want $110 return for every $100 that you invest? That's your ROI, your return on your investment. And so I gave it to you in very layman's terms. However, I need you to think about that and apply that at large scale when you determine your investment criteria. Because listen, a renovation of a property can cost you, $50,000 to $100,000. A minor or light rehab, can cost you $25,000. Maybe you just need some cosmetic and paint. Maybe you're only spending about $5,000 to $10,000. Really light, minor things. But all of these you want to consider. You don't want to leave any of these factors out when determining your investment criteria so that you can actually know your numbers and have a target. There's a national average between $300 to $500. Like every door, if we're looking at a multi-unit, a multi-family building, the average across the nation is between $300 to $500. Personally, I look to make $400 plus per door. So if I'm invested in 4 units, I want my cash flow in my pocket to be, after my expenses, $400 per door. So that would be $1,600. You guys, you have to have clarity exactly what it looks like, what the numbers look like, how much are you looking to get a return on, and then you can reverse engineer it and work backwards to see. Maybe you need to invest at a higher price point. Or if the price point or the class of the community or neighborhood you're looking to invest in can yield you that return that you're looking for month over month. These key things are critical. Having that clarity and ensuring that you have some alignment in your goals, in your risk tolerance, in the return on the investment you want. Alignment is key, and it will help you drive you to the right investment property, the right area, the right price point, so that you can see the return on your investment. Whether you're looking at a multifamily 2 to 4 units, or if you're looking at a single door, your risk criteria remain the same. Okay, what you are going to consider remains the same. Now, if you're looking at a single door, some other things that I want you to consider or think about: what else can generate income? So if there's land in the back, is there an in-ground pool? Can you generate income there? Are you doing a room rental? You want to tap out and maximize how you can generate income and evaluate that as a part of your strategy and being able to come up with what you need, your criteria for investing. Again, if it is a multifamily, is there parking? Is there a garage? Do you require that? You want to be able, again, if you are clear on your goals and your price point, the return that you want on your investment, then you're able to fully maximize the different ways in which you can make money. Will you be offering a laundromat? Can you offer a laundromat? Can you get another $100 a month from reserve parking? So again, know your goals, understand the risk that you're willing to take, be clear on the return on the investment that you want to make, so that you, when analyzing a property, you can look at all the different ways that you can actually get rental income. And that will help you be able to properly assess and analyze if a property is right for you. Listen, you guys, I've enjoyed my time with you. I hope that you took away some valuable information that can help you along your journey in real estate investing. I know for a fact that anyone, no matter what industry you're in, real estate investing is for each and every working professional to help you build generational wealth and create a legacy for your last name. It's no longer reserved just for the rich. So before you go, I want you to click, like, subscribe, And give me some feedback. Let me know, was this helpful for you? Is this information that you want to hear more about? Give me some feedback. I look forward to engaging. And thanks again for tuning into my channel. This is Miss Cashflow Property. See you next time.